Well, it is a Sunday and we are here in this small town of Humboldt, Kansas at the Humboldt Speedway to compete with the All-Star Circuit of Champions for our third night on the weekend. Night number 1 and 2 were at the Lake Ozark Speedway in Missouri. Then we made the couple-hour drive over here to Kansas, and this is going to be our first race of this little Midwest trip in Kansas. We are also going to be a little bit farther north in the state in the beginning of August. But welcome back to today's video. My first thoughts and first impressions of walking up to this speedway is it's a little bit smaller than what the video show, but overall a nice facility. And let's kind of walk up here to the backstretch and give you guys a little bit of a closer look to the racetrack. Now here is a good look at the back straightaway, and when we initially walked up to this place just about an hour ago when we got here, one of the things that my dad pointed out is how on the back straightaway and the front straightaway, and you probably won't be able to see this on the camera, but there's almost a couple of humps in the straightaway. So that's an interesting characteristic. And then also if you take a look at turns 3 and 4, it is much tighter than 1 and 2. It's very narrow and you kind of have to turn much quicker. But if you turn over this way, you can see 1 and 2 is more sweeping, and I think you're going to be able to keep your foot in it and possibly get right up on the fence like a couple of videos that I watched here before we came. So let's get the night started. I'm not really sure what we're expecting for car count considering it is a Sunday show and you did have to drive a couple of hours from the Lake Ozark Speedway. A little bit of a tow, but I think they're gonna have a couple of supporting classes, and overall it should just be a fun night of racing. Well, this place is a pretty small bull ring. I guess it's a little bit bigger than a bull ring, but you got some good speed, tight corners, a couple more groups, and then we're gonna be going out for single car qualifying. So this is gonna kind of help us. We're gonna be able to watch and see how it changes, and then be one of the first cars to go out as it keeps, moving along. Well, 19410 showed up to the Humboldt Speedway for this Sunday afternoon show. We ended up going 9th quick here with the All-Stars. We were the 3rd car to roll out. Track slowed down just a little bit, but this place is really, really neat. I kind of talked about how both ends are different. 1 and 2, you can keep your foot in it, but it was way closer to the wall than 3 and 4. And it even bit a couple of drivers. You almost had to lift a little bit on entry, keep the car straight, and then catch the grip from center off. And then 3 and 4, you could drive much harder. I felt like we laid down a good lap. You can always do a couple things to get better and better, but for the most part the 18T had a lot of speed and I felt like I did a good job behind the wheel. So qualifying 9th quick with this format, that's actually going to put us on the front row of a heat race. We are going to be starting front row outside. They obviously are going to be transferring everyone, but if we can win this heat race we will lock ourselves into the redraw. So the sun is just getting ready to set. It's very, very late. I'm gonna hop in for the heat race since we don't have as many cars. It's gonna be a really, really quick show, but we're gonna be starting front row outside. You can hear the horn starting next to Paul McMahon. So I'm gonna watch this first heat race, hop in, and then we have 8 laps here around Humboldt for our heat race. While Carly is getting our left rear all mounted up for the feature. I knew starting up front I was gonna have to be on it and not make any mistakes, and I didn't get the greatest start. I felt like I was in a good spot, but the bottom did have a little bit more grip than the line I was in. And going into turn 1, I wasn't bad. I kind of ran second there, and then Zeb Wise snuck underneath both me and Paul McMahon, and I was right there behind Paul. I felt like I was making some good laps, kind of no matter where I ran on the racetrack. I needed to be a little bit better in 1 and 2, but no matter where I went in 3 and 4, whether it was around the high side or through the middle or even a little bit above the middle, the car felt good. And then just one of the laps I made my most crucial mistake. I got in too hard on the wall. Well, I mean, I got in good, and I wasn't able to get it turned, and I got into the fence. It didn't do any damage. I kind of just bounced off of it, but it's frustrating because that sent me from 3rd to 5th. That's really the only reason I lost those 2 spots. And as you guys know, you guys are following along with my journey, so you hear about my successes, my mistakes, and my biggest mistakes there in the heat race. I just need to work on being a little bit smoother. I'm trying to be up on the wheel to get after it, but I just need to work on being a little smoother and not so much on the wheel, and then also just try to eliminate every mistake. It's hard to be perfect with these guys, but that's what you have to do to win these heat races and run up front in the main event. So we'll see where we're going to start. They're going to do a little bit of track prep, and that'll be coming up soon. Well, this is the spot in 3 and 4 that bit us there in the heat race. They're doing a little bit of track prep right now, hoping it holds up for the feature. In some of the previous races I watched here from ASCS, it did take rubber towards the end of the feature, kind of just right around the bottom, around the infield tires, which to mention, these infield tractor tires are massive and definitely won't move. You can see them right there. Those are right along the infield. Racetrack's really, really cool though. You can work multiple lines, and now it's just about perfecting our car, perfecting my driving, and really trying to put together a full main event. I think if we can get in a rhythm and move around and continue to change with the racetrack as it changes, I think we'll have a good shot. So here's a shot of the water truck as it kind of rolls by, packing in the bottom. All right, we're rolling off from 13th. They just blew the 8-minute horn, so we're getting strapped in. The racetrack looks like it had some grip from that rework. They did the redraw, which was like 4 or 5 laps, 8 cars out there, and it changed a little bit, but like I mentioned, I think we just gotta watch out possible rubber, but right now the track does have grip, and it's only gonna change throughout the feature. So we're rolling off 13th. Should be a fun one. This place seems unique. It's race good, and I think we just gotta find a comfortable line and move around as the track's gonna change to try to move forward. now that we have a second to kind of look back at the 30 laps around Humboldt, I think the first thing I would say, and the whole crew would agree with me, is no one expected it to stay hooked up around the bottom like it did. It didn't really change a whole lot. Maybe 2/3 of the way through the race, it seems like the top in 1 and 2 came in. When the leaders kind of came by, they were able to make that work. But the one mistake I did, honestly, a lot of my laps were really, really good. I felt like I hit the bottom. I wasn't necessarily missing it. But early on, within like the first 3 laps, I was able to charge about 3 spots forward from 13th to 10th. And I felt really good around the bottom. But just with kind of last night and just not wanting to stay on the bottom, that's not necessarily the right term, but just not wanting to hang out there too long, because, you know, the top has been good all night. And I was thinking, you know, maybe a couple guys got bottled on the top and I was able to sneak by them, but maybe really the bottom's not as good as it was, because if you can carry some momentum up on the banking, it's usually, or it was fast early in the night. And I charged into 1 and 2 on that restart after gaining a couple of spots, and I pretty much, it was like being at Talladega or Daytona and you get out of the draft and you just start waving guys by. Like, I would not have predicted the grip would have stayed down there, and the top was so dirty and just so many loose marbles as it was, and that just hurt me. So that was disappointing, because I really think we could have been in the top 10 tonight. But sometimes, as I always say, you need to have a tough loss like that to learn and say, you know what, maybe it would have been better just to hang out around the bottom, and then if someone passes you on the top, go up there, because our program around the bottom is really, really good. But I just been trying to venture out of my comfort zone with these guys. You always got to try to change things up, and unfortunately it just it didn't work going up to the high side. It wasn't bad in 1 and 2 most of the race, but 3 and 4, it was so dirty. If you did not hit the very bottom, you just slide off of it. So like I mentioned, just waved those 4 guys by that I passed already, and I think we came home 13th, 14th, 15th. Doesn't really matter, but our quality of laps were good. The car was good, so a lot of bonuses. We just try to get better and better with the All-Stars, but literally one mistake during the A, and that changed probably, you know, anywhere from being 6 spots farther up potentially if we just, you know, hit our marks and maybe pass a couple more cars. Well, we have a quiet racetrack here at the Humboldt Speedway. This place is officially empty. A really solid crowd tonight for not having a lot of 410 sprint car action in this area. And also got to give props to this speedway. They have a lot of phenomenal places to watch the races from. You can stand on the backstretch, you can stand here off of turn 4, you can be along the front straightaway in the main grandstands. Really, really enjoyed being here at this facility, and the hospitality was top notch. As far as our night went, another night in the books here in the Midwest. I've been saying it, you guys are gonna see our journey, you know, the ups, the downs, the mistakes, the successes, the passes, the getting past. It's all just a part of sprint car racing, and we have a lot of time. I don't ever mean to sound hard on myself in these videos, but man, it's just tough. I've been saying it, you gotta be so perfect with the All-Stars, and the Outlaws is even another level up. You just gotta be so good with these 410 guys. They've been doing it a long time, and you can't give them an inch, because if you give them an inch, they're gonna make it work and get by you. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we did not think the racetrack would be in the condition that it was. It was so slick in the heat races, and there wasn't much grip anywhere. You could make a couple different lines work, but we did not think that their little rework that they did with some water on the racetrack would, you know, bring that much moisture back and then make it 1 lane around the bottom for most of the feature. So we wish we could have finished in the top 10 there. Unfortunately, we did not, but we got some more laps. We were able to put our car away in one piece. Now we have one night off. We're gonna get the car all washed up, do some laundry, head to Walmart, find something fun to do, and then we head on over to I-70 as our schedule changed. So we're actually gonna stay with the All-Stars as they go throughout Missouri. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to all my sponsors, the crew. They continue to work hard, even though this is such a learning process. We continue to get better and better, and our successful nights are coming. We just got to continue to put our head down, go to these new places, try to figure them out as fast as possible. And with this all-star format, if we can start qualifying better, getting through our heats, that's going to put us in a much better spot for the feature. So looking forward to the next couple of nights in the 410, then we're back to the 360 to finish off the trip. But anyway, Humboldt Speedway, it was a blast. We will see you guys all in the next one, and thank you for hanging out for another race with us out here in the Midwest in the state of Kansas. See you guys all in the next one. Deuces.